It's the Duffin Up Podcast. All right, Duff Daddies and Duff Mamas, we have on a very, very special guest, another local guest. That is right. We are keeping it in the New England realm here. In the off season, all of us have to, kind of suffer together right here. But we welcome on the founder of Dotty Green Golf, one of actually the 2023 PGA Show winner for Best New Product with the Dotty Green Golf Rangefinder, specifically made for the greens. So I have never even heard of this. I watched the YouTube video. This thing is absolutely amazing. We welcome on Andrew Larracey. Andrew, how are we doing tonight?
Doing great. Thank you guys both for having me.
Absolutely.
Excited to chat.
Absolutely. And once again, second week in a row, Bry Guy gets a little bit of credit here because both Brian and Andrew went to Providence College, who we will be putting out this episode on Monday, which I believe will be March 3rd or 4th. And Providence will have already lost to the Villanova Wildcats by then, so we'll be okay. But, got to give credit to Brian.
Keep it talking. Yeah, that's enough. Yeah, no, we will see how the game turns out, Mr. Monroe. But we're pretty excited to have Andrew on here, at least for backup for rooting on the Friars. And so I think because we're outnumbering you, it may be a different story than what you want, Bren.
I know. Usually I do the bullying, but also Villanova's been pretty mediocre over the last couple of years. So there's no longer a big there's no longer the superiority complex, to say the least. I got pegged down pretty well at the Villanova Providence game last year when Villanova ended up, I think, losing by about 25. So not the best day. But anyways, back to the golf podcast portion. Andrew, we would love to know. So obviously, not just making this product, but we want to know, what got you into the game of golf and what made you decide to go this route with the product as well?
Sure. No, I appreciate a little Friar shout out anytime we can get it. And even before my days of campus golf around the PC campus, I grew up west of Boston, and my dad was a golfer, and I think he played mostly for his trips with his buddies, which we can probably most of us can attest to are worth it, in and of itself. But no, I grew up actually in a small town of Ashland, and grew up on kind of an old farm area, and my dad had clubs, so played sports and just ended up taking his clubs out in the backyard every once in a while and started whacking around, and played baseball, so kind of got the itch to try and hit a golf ball. And there was a little par three, unfortunately no longer exists, Stony Brook in Southborough. And when I started kind of, everybody knows about the golf itch who's probably listening, and I got it pretty good. I started just getting dropped off on a Saturday, spending a couple hours, circling around. I think it was the third hole. Yeah, it was the third hole. It was about like 210 yards. It was like the only hole that 13 or 14-year-olds could hit driver on. And just kind of fell in love with the game. Ended up in high school, I stopped playing baseball, and Ashland had a pretty good golf program. So my dad was like, "Hey, you're pretty decent at golf. You should probably think about playing." And ended up continuing down that path. Played high school golf, went to PC with the intention of playing. Little beknownst to me, it wasn't too far south that you couldn't play year round, but they ended up cutting the program my freshman year because of Title IX. And just through business and just life and friends, just continue to play, continue to love the game. And it's just something I still enjoy, and still to this day can't get enough of it.
No, I love that. And for those of you who don't Did not go to Providence College. Don't know what the first part of that was. Every year, Providence has a golf theme party, which there are 18 houses, which are the 18 holes. And it may be the most outrageous thing that I have ever been a part of in my entire life. Like, it is absolutely rowdy, absolutely rambunctious. Everyone dressed to the nines and very, I wouldn't say tacky, but like some people go all the way with the tacky golf gear, and it's pretty epic. It's pretty epic. And for those of you who have never attended, now you know. If you are a big golf fan and want to go to Providence College, just for the golf party, do it up. It's great. Brian, I'm sure you have great stories about it too.
Yeah, some I remember, some I don't, but it definitely had a lot of it was the time that friends visited me at college for the most part. Like a lot of time you don't want to bounce around, you want to stay at your own place for the weekend, but that it was a must-see event there. It's a just an all-day darty going around, and we don't make it barely makes it past like four houses. The intention is 18 holes or 18 different houses, but it either gets shut down at some point or just people get lost. So anyway, but back to real golf. That was a good time in our lives. Definitely recommend. But yeah,
10 out
no.
of 10 would do again. 10 out of 10 would do again.
So Andrew, did you by the time like when you were there, did they have a club team sorted out? Because they weren't when they switched out of a golf like a D1 program.
They did not. They went from, D1 varsity program to kind of nothing at the time. I found better things to do with my time, I guess. I was on the IAB, intramural sports board.
Hmm.
So I literally I could not say enough about like keeping busy and playing sports. But yeah, the party scene was great. The campus golf actually was not in relation to the party itself. We
Oh
literally would
no,
play.
I've goofed it
No,
up.
but hey, listen. My house was very much a part of that many years, or the 2 years I lived off campus, and then when I came back as an alumni. But we would literally bring out like a wedge, and I think we used real balls, and we would just play around on campus, and
It's
just like people
they
were like, "What are you doing?"
it,
So I mean, that was it was, I don't know.
they must
No
have
one got
hated
hurt
that.
in the
They must have
making of the game.
absolutely hated that. They have pristine grass. That's like kind of their thing is having a nice manicured landscape. And so they must absolutely hated seeing you on the security cameras hacking up the quad or something like that.
No Dominican friars were injured at all. Maybe we might even had one offered a caddy at one point.
I believe it. That's fantastic. I obviously like so it's kind of funny. I feel like golf, especially in the Northeast, isn't exactly it's not common for people to start at an early age. You're usually obviously playing baseball or football or any other sport leading up to it, and then golf is kind of like, all right, when my time is done doing doing sports or you just don't you get cut. Like my story is our in Rhode Island the golf season is in the spring, and so is baseball. I know Massachusetts, I think it's in the
It
fall,
is
the golf
fall.
season.
It's
So
it was it for me. It was play
yeah,
football or play golf, and
yeah.
I chose
I was gonna
football.
say I was like thankful, blessing in disguise. I got cut from our freshman baseball team, and I was like, I guess I'll go up for golf. And the rest is history. It was probably the best thing to happen to me. Is going to. I mean, I'm not that good of a golfer still, but I'm a little bit better than my friends that made the baseball team. And so I started a little bit earlier, and kind of got into it there. But it's and then I went out for when I went to PC. Obviously, I didn't have any looks in college at all. Like for golf, I was not good enough. But I was like, I'll give the PC club team because we had a club team by then. And it was it was like tryouts were at Cranston Country Club because the owner of Cranston is a PC grad, I believe. And there's a lot of ties to the college, and so it was one. Well, if I only made it past one round of 9 holes, and I just absolutely blew up because, as you know, like you when you go from summer playing golf all the time, and then you kind of get into it. Like the tryouts weren't for a couple months, and so I just like lost it. I was super rusty. These are my excuses. I don't think I would have really made it anyway, but just got cut. I only did one tryout, and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do this. So, but I do see them if I play Triggs in Providence. I saw a kid that was probably on the club team. He had a sweet Providence College Titleist bag that I was very jealous of. It said Providence on it all over. I was like, I would have tried a little harder if we had that, or maybe I can buy it off this kid or something. But it's too funny.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but a great little Donald Ross that's tucked right
Oh yeah,
into the area there.
one of the best.
The only Donald Ross course that was intended to be a public course. So all of Donald Ross's other designs were, you have like George Wright, you got all these other, they were all intended to be private golf clubs. Triggs was the only one he ever designed to be a public course because he loved Providence so much. Wasn't he buried there?
No, he's buried in Newton or Needham.
Oh,
Because that's where his wife's from, surprisingly, not in his motherland where he is born from, but yeah, he's right down the street from us in Needham, or I think it's Needham.
it's one of them. It's one of them.
Yeah, we should go pay homage.
Mm. Well, yeah, right. Maybe
No.
do a podcast from the graveyard. How
No,
funny would that be?
not proud to admit it. I might have snuck through the hole in the fence on the second hole a couple times when I was flat broke in college.
100%. You got it. Yeah,
It's there for a reason. It's there for a reason.
Yeah. So I play in a tournament there every year. And I play when I can if I'm in the area. And I always looked forward to, on the second hole, it was always sponsored by the Foxy Lady, which I thought was awesome. But it's no longer sponsored by Foxy Lady. So that's for those who are listening. That is a notable strip club in Providence. Not that I frequented, but it's just got a great name, and you can see it from the highway.
No comment.
Yeah, we great. Yep. Anyways, Brian. No, but Andrew, one of the things, I mean, obviously going down memory lane is always great, but definitely wanted to kind of also ask, what made you decide, playing golf for a long time, what made you decide to get into the industry itself and be like, okay, I want to make something, and I also want to make something that hasn't been made before? Because obviously, like, we talk about rangefinders and everyone uses it from, if you're on a short par 4 and you want to be like, oh, I can hit the green, you ping the flag, or you ping the flag when you're in the middle of the fairway, or you do this, you do that. What made you decide to go ahead and do it, based on the green itself?
That's a good question. It might have been a solo dad night in the basement where I was down here in my thoughts, too close to the beer fridge, or potentially expanding my mental horizons. But honestly, I grew up caddying. Like, I was the looper. I've always had like an entrepreneurial flair. I started as a financial analyst at a hospital out of college, continued in accounting for a while, went into staffing, started a staffing company. And during COVID, it was a few years after I ended up joining back at Framingham, where I grew up caddying. And we play a ton of closest to the pin, hence the name for dots. We will play closest to the pin on the 3s and the 5s. So we close with a great, downhill short par 3, and then a medium length par 5 that has a creek running through it with, a big pond on the front right of the green. So, if you have carryover skins, or, closest to the pins, we do those dots. And if you own all the par 3s, a $2 bet could double into, hey, you own all the par 3s, that doubles. So you own all the par 5s, that doubles. So we would always, end up walking it off or laying down the flag stick. And there was just no good way to measure who was closest. And on top of that, I started carrying a string around in my bag, and then that started getting all tangled. There was just no good way. And then, I own a small staffing company, and I plan a lot of tournaments and, try and, sponsor different causes in the area. And, it's like closest to the pin, all these scrambles, the par threes are backed up. It's like a 6 hour round. Then you got dinner for a couple hours. You got the awards. Like my wife's, I had two young boys. My wife's like, you play in a tournament. It started at 1. You're getting home at, God knows when. Even if it starts at 9 a.m., you're playing a 6+ hour round for a scramble. And every par threes, there's 6, 8 carts when you pull up. So one of the slogans for Dotty Green is like, leave your tape measure in the shed. So what I was thinking about was like, all right, can I get like a fishing line or a better tape measure, or, and then the electronics piece came in where, all right, can we get a laser measurement? So, the Dotty Green was kind of a kind of napkin scratch pad idea where I was like, how can we find a better way to figure out how close you are on the green? And then the more, whether it be playing with your buddies or your girlfriends on a par 3 or par 5, or even just, you think about a club championship or competitive golf, like even the PGA, they use GPS. What you see on the telecast is GPS reading. That's not accurate. They say it's a 57-foot putt, like that's not exactly accurate. The device will give you a reading to the inch on how far you are from the cup. So it kind of spiraled from like our little game, and then the tournaments, and then like even for new golfers, the barrier to entry at golf is pretty tricky. So even learning what a 10-foot putt, what a 20-foot putt, what a 40-foot putt feels like, there's all these other areas that, anybody will tell you that to lower your score, you got to do it on the green. And there was just, I've owned a rangefinder for the longest time. It's great. I'm not trying to replace rangefinders for 187, 213 yards. It's just about really figuring out how far you are on the green.
I love that. I love that. I mean, as someone who does not use a rangefinder ever and just uses like the 18 Birdies app, I actually feel like this would make so much more sense, because I could just go up and be like, okay, I got a 23-foot putt, or like, okay, like this is like a 17-foot putt. Like I know, here and there exactly how far away I am, probably know a little bit more about what the speed, if I've been hitting putts well all day, probably know a little bit better on the roll and be able to do that. So I feel like this is, this would definitely help. And I'm sure it can help too if you're, a little bit off the green and you're chipping and you're doing stuff like that. It might be able to help too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's where, it's definitely, that's where the technology kind of meets the feel, is really trying to help people, whether you're doing it in a match or doing it in a tournament. There's other, the GPS, the watch, the app, those are great. But again, the big boy rangefinders, again, I've used, I had a Bushnell for probably 15 years. I don't even know, 12, 15 years. It finally shit the bed. And I brought a buddy to a 1-day member guest, and he won it was the same day that my rangefinder died, and he won a pinned rangefinder, and it's the Prism. It's amazing. I love it. And I know that's another shout out to a Boston area company. And those all of them bottom out at about 5 or 6 yards. So, 18, 20 feet, no one really knows what kind of goes on inside that range. And whether you're a scratch golfer who knows exactly how to hit a 15-foot putt, or a 10-foot putt, or an 8-foot putt, who, the pros are still, I think, 50-50 from about 8 feet. So just knowing that, whether you're practicing or playing, it at the end of the day, I'm trying to speed things up a little bit, but at the same time, as a former financial analyst, I like the data. I like to know, where I'm at.
Yeah, 100%. That's, yeah, I couldn't agree with you more on that side, at least, because as someone who kind of struggles a little bit on the green here and there, I feel like I'm a decent putter, but at the same time, like I can definitely put one by very, very easily. So I feel like this would help.
Better to put
Andrew.
it by than leave it short.
This
up,
is
Timmy?
true. This is true. How you doing, bud? Thanks for coming on. Sorry I'm late, guys. I'm glad to be here.
You gave it away, Tim. We were going to pretend like you were here the entire time.
Son of a bitch. Well, hello. Hi, everybody.
News to me.
News to you. But yeah, love the background. Love what has been talked about so far. Let's keep this thing rolling. Don't let me interrupt.
Please.
Because you
60 degrees today. Hopefully you're out playing.
I just came from Top Golf. That's why I'm late. We had like a little thing with a group of friends and playing for a while and got out a little late, but not a bad thing when you're at Top Golf, hitting a few extra shots. And so yeah, it was good. I didn't get out on the course. We were talking about it. But yeah, I did swing the club today. I'm glad you said. Did you get out there today?
I drove by on my way home from work to pick up my boys, and I wanted to. It looked all right. I didn't have the shoe. I had the clubs in the trunk. I didn't have I had sneakers on, and I was running tight on time, so I didn't sneak out. But I'm gonna do it soon. I was actually mentioned to Brendan that I'm making my maiden voyage to Hilton Head in a few weeks. So I gotta get some swings in before that.
And all of a sudden, Brian's amazing positive attitude has just drained because we're talking Hilton Head again. Every episode, Brian. Every episode.
It's okay. I'm turning over a new leaf on. I like seeing Brendan happy. Brendan loves Hilton Head more than anybody, than Mr. Hilton himself. I don't know if that's what it's named after.
It's actually kind of funny because Hilton Head, there are no Hiltons and there are like 7 Marriotts. So it's like, wait a minute, how did this happen?
Well, yeah, because that'd be a tough Google search. The Hilton and Hilton Head. I mean, if you're a marketer or search engine optimizer person, then that's top of the search list if you just type in Hilton Head Hotel or something. But anyway, no, that's fantastic. How long are you going to be down there, Andrew?
We have been doing Myrtle for a few too many years. I think we aged ourselves out of Myrtle. And we are doing Thursday to Sunday. So we're doing 18, 18, 36, and then getting out of Dodge.
That's fantastic. But a big group of you? I'm hoping a derivative of 4, at least.
Yeah, we got 12. We do a little mini Ryder Cup that this is our 3rd year. I was doing it before we did Myrtle forever, a big group of guys from my hometown. We did Myrtle for like 5 or 6 or 7 years before everybody started having kids. And then the group that I go down with now from Framingham, we got 2 6-man squads. We've had a couple battles in Myrtle, and we kind of, after last year taking it pretty deep, we figured it would be a little we need to slow down a little and take it to Hilton Head.
Wow. Talk to me formats. What are you guys doing for those days as far as Ryder Cup goes?
So we have done in the past, we do a pre-party. It's actually coming up, I think, a week from Thursday. We're gonna do a little dinner draft. So we kind of two of the guys lived on the same street, so it's the Battle of Wilson Circle. And they'd pick teams. We did an individual, I think we did an individual, then a team, and then I'm sorry, we did 2 teams. We did like a stroke, then a best ball, and then a individual, like a 6-man individual on the final day. So pretty classic Ryder Cup style. But we last year we played on Sunday before our flight home, and it was actually at an amazing course that we were able to get on down in Myrtle. And I think luckily we finished the Ryder Cup Saturday, and we had guys that just kind of were napping all over. Some of them played 0 holes, some played 9. And I wanted to see the track because the PGA is heading there soon at at the dunes in Myrtle, and I really wanted to check it out because it was the only private course I think I've ever played in Myrtle. And the PGA Tour like announced like the week after we got back that they were going down there, and it was great. But some guys flew out like they were like, I'm flying home. They just got on the first flight Sunday morning they could. We were struggling, so you know we were showing our age a little bit.
Just say that's a Spirit Airlines flight, I'm assuming. That's the way to go.
Not having direct flights in and out of Boston to Myrtle Beach is a shame. I used to fly in and out of Worcester. It was a piece of cake. They also they definitely did not stock the plane for golf trips in terms of Bud Lights, but that's a different story.
I
Yeah,
love that. Love
yeah, I once when I was doing a golf trip, obviously I brought my clubs with me, and I think I was going down to Hilton Head. I love Hilton Head. It's a great experience. It's just Brendan's infatuation for it is just comical to me.
It's not infatuation, it's love. There's a difference.
Yeah, his arousement towards a location.
True love. It's true love.
But I just remember looking out the window of the plane, and I identified my bag and just seeing him toss it like it was a sack of potatoes. It was so scary to me. I'm like, oh my God, like those are some new clubs. There it goes. Hopefully got that insurance, but it's always sketchy. Do you usually like just check your golf clubs, or have you ever done like ship sticks or anything?
I have done ship sticks, but I usually will bring them with me. And that's, I think, another PC shout out. I'm pretty sure the founder of ship sticks is a Friar.
There we go.
I might be incorrect there, but no, I usually like having them with me. But again, they really do get tossed around. I bring down like a little cooler and put it on top of like the heads of my clubs in my bag. I don't know. That really probably does nothing, but I haven't lost a club yet.
Yeah, I like ship sticks. The thing with ship sticks is it's an awesome feature, especially if you you like having it sent directly to the club, and you can also send it back out from that club if you know where you'll be golfing first and such. But the only frustrations or hesitancy that I have with ship sticks is like, in order to make the price make sense, you have to send it out like a week or so in advance than when you leave. So like you're kind of sitting there without clubs leading up to when you depart on the way there, and then on the way back it's like you won't get them for another week unless you pay the big bucks, but then and ship it out like overnight or 2 days. But at that point it's like double the price of just checking it and bringing it with you on the flight. But yeah, is that pros and cons, I guess, depending on what you're doing.
I know there's a lot of people who have problems with like they have just the bag has gone on the wrong flight and it just goes. So I guess ship six, the security of knowing that like, okay, like a week before I know they are at that golf course right now, to just like, I can't imagine going on a golf trip and you find out your clubs are in Arizona and you're in North Carolina. You know what I mean? Like that's just like, oh my God, it just throws off your whole week. But obviously it'll still be good. You'll get some clubs and you'll make do, but just first world problems. You know what I mean? It's like but ship sticks, that's one thing it does have going for it. But I am willing to try because Brian does make a good point. You want to play a couple days before you leave. You're itching to get back out there as soon as you get back. So that, like Brian said, pros and cons. I'm excited for you. I'm glad you're going to Hilton Head. I'm going to be the only one who has not in this podcast right now, and so that just means I'm next. It just means
it is. Who knows, Timbo? Maybe we'll make the trip sooner or later.
Sure.
Can't catch that invite from Bren.
That's not. That's so not true. That's so upsetting. I don't want to talk about. I don't want to. Anyways, no, I'm kidding.
Now, Andrew, does everybody in the group have a Dotty Green's rangefinder at all?
So we're pretty close to launch. As you can imagine, and I haven't really even shown you guys, but so I got one of the 3 prototypes right here. This is kind of a prototype case, so we're going to make that a little bit smaller. It'll come with your little USB-C charger.
Important.
And then this is what I'm calling like a pin affix. So to get the most accurate measurement, if you're standing up and measuring, it's not going to be exactly it's not going to be exact. So this will literally wrap around. It's like a watch style pin affix. This is a metal disc, and this will wrap around the flagstick. And whoa, I almost dropped it. And you have a really strong magnet right here. So this will wrap on the flagstick. You can move it down pretty low for like a tournament and literally take a measurement. So we're going to have 3 colorways. This is the red one. There's a green one and a gray one. It comes with both a ball marker here. So it'll fit right in your pocket. This is pocket size. You can walk up to it with it, stick it right in your pocket. If you have a big boy rangefinder, that stays in the car. You grab this, stick it in your back pocket. If you have a watch or an app that helps you with distance, when that shortens out or runs out of, runs too low, you got everything you need for the green. Ball marker, divot tool. We're actually going to a single prong divot tool, which this green is pretty important because the way it's going to work is if you're playing with your buddies or by yourself or practicing, you can just literally, turn the laser on, point it at your target. It'll give you a double beep if it doesn't take a reading. That's what just happened there. So I'm pointing it over there. You hold it down, you release. It'll beep once and it'll give you. So right there, 6'5" is where I just shot it. So you can shoot it to the flag, or in a tournament, you're going to put this, or if you're, in a match, or if you really want to be precise, you're going to put this directly behind your ball. This will affix to the pin magnetically through this, like I just showed you guys, and you're going to shine the laser off, back off this, and it shows really well green on green. Use a class 3 green laser, so it'll show you that, and that was 1 foot 2 inches.
Damn.
So in a high lux environment, we tested a lot of different colors. In the green on green, the green laser shows much better than red, especially in high lux, high sunlight. If you're out in the middle of a wide open green in the middle of summer or down in Florida, and then the green on green works really well. So it pretty much will give you the exact measurement if you want to affix it to the pin, if it's a tournament or in a match or something that's really, if you're too close to really, if you stand there and say, hey, you're 10'7", you're 10'8", why don't we attach it to the pin and figure out exactly who's closest? So the battery life has been great. We did some drop testing, we did some waterproof testing. There's a USB-C charger right there. So you can charge it right in the cart. There's there's not a magnetic, not a magnification scope. It's just more so like that you can aim at your target and the laser is visible. So I talk to a lot of people who, either use the GPS or even have eyesight problems or can't really use the laser for one reason or another, the scope lasers. So this having a visible green laser has shown to be pretty, it seemed like people like seeing the laser, having that visible component, where you might not normally be able to actually see what you're shooting at.
That's cool. That's super cool. And throughout the design process, who you've been working with, have you had to go overseas to manufacturers or anything along those lines to kind of make this, even just the prototype, but to make this product and this dream a reality?
That's a good question. That could be probably a whole podcast in and of itself. But so when I first started doing it, I was referred to several really good patent attorneys down in the Philly area. I wanted to make sure, I did a lot of research just during COVID. I had some downtime. Staffing was pretty slow, not a lot of companies hiring. So I went down the rabbit hole. I was like, all right, I'm going to put some time and energy into this. I don't think it exists. I went on Amazon. I went down the Google rabbit hole. I really couldn't find anything that could give you a good aside from a tape measure, which, leave your tape measure in the shed, doesn't belong on a golf course. And I found, I actually found, I went to like Invent Help. I went to a bunch of different sites that did invention help and invention, for dummies pretty much, because I was an accountant turned staffing guy. Like I had no idea how to get this from my head into my hand. And the patent attorneys, I had a guy who hopefully you guys are old enough, if you remember the original Nokia phone that had like Snake on it. So that I ended up meeting with that guy, and I was like ready to sign with his design firm. He had since left Nokia and was at a design like incubator. And I met with probably 4 or 5 different companies. And then at the last minute, the patent attorneys were like, we know a guy who has a design firm that actually has a golf product. And it's as pretty cool as Rival and Revel. They have like it's a silicone, like injection molded, handheld plastic thing that like you could fit, I think, like 5 or 8 clubs on it. And they just stick right to it. And I think you can put a ball on each side and you can just carry it around if you're just out there, at twilight or something. So I met with him. I really, this guy, Brian, got along with him great. He kind of got the vision. He knew golf. I said, let's do it. He brought in an electrical engineer. This guy, Dr. Orlando Hernandez, who's awesome guy. He's a professor down in New Jersey and just helped me pretty much, the brain of the whole contraption here is the PCB. So that was designed in Philly. Brian was doing a lot of the design, the look, I call it the look, touch, and feel. So Brian was doing a lot of that design engineering. Orlando was doing a lot of the PCB. The laser is from China. And then some of the other components, we just kind of like are pulling together, like the ball marker, the divot tool. Those are things that were just, secondary items that we had to source. But, we're literally in the process of, after the PGA show, after winning the award, I was flying home and, I was really, long story short, like I was in the inventor spotlight and they gave away a couple different awards in the inventor spotlight. If you've been to the PGA show, it's this like little group. They really lower the price of your booth. They give you a shot. You do a Shark Tank style pitch in front of these the inventors of America. You get in front of them. I did that. My hands haven't sweat that much since like college interviews, but I did not win. They had like best marketing, best innovation. Like they gave away a couple prizes for the inventor spotlight, and I was like heartbroken that I didn't win like best innovation. So I'm like, oh, I've never worked a trade show. I'm like, I've been on my feet for back-to-back days, like 12 hours. I'm working this booth by myself, trying to pitch this thing. A lot of interest, a lot of people, a lot of like PGA, like professionals saying like, oh yeah, we like it, we like it. And I go, like, I take my first squirt in like 2 days. I sneak over to the bathroom and I'm coming back to my booth. I'm like, all right, I guess, one more day of this. I was like kind of downtrodden. And the guy who I booked the booth from comes up to me. He's like, Andrew, you got to be up on stage in like 10 minutes. I've been trying to find you. I'm like, what do you mean, Max? He's like, dude, you just won best new product at the show. I'm like, no, they just did the Inventors Awards. I didn't win. He's like, no. Inventors Award, dude, you just won best new product of the PGA show. I'm like, what? And I called my wife on the flight home. I was like, I think I just started a new job. Like crazy. I had like it was like a weird dream, but the process to make something is wild. It's wild.
I believe it. I mean, it's congratulations again on the award and kind of getting it, putting your dream and your thoughts into a reality, because so many people like golf industry or literally in any aspect of life always have these thoughts and these ideas of what can make my life easier, and I think that other people will benefit from this as well. And basically like you obviously the measuring on the green, and your feelings on, oh, like the me bringing a string out there every time is is not going to do. And like putting that that thought and that vision and that dream of into a reality, and the fact that it's getting recognition and into motion of people like, yeah, that's, I mean, you don't win best new product if it's only your product, like you're the only person experiencing this as an issue or a need there. Obviously everybody agrees that this is something that needs to um be created and put into and change the game of golf. What, like, more like maybe off of the tour. I don't The tour probably won't allow it just because they don't allow a lot. But like changing the lives of golfers everywhere um is awesome. So congratulations on that.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it was, like I said, I went down there just like to check it out as a golfer with like this little gadget, and that means a lot. And to that point, actually, yeah, the PGA DMDs are not allowed distance measuring devices, but under the USGA, it classifies as a DMD. It does everything that a rangefinder does. It does not tell slope, it does not tell break. We can do like a magnetic uh, com- uh, level or something to help you with break, but I wanted to be legal. It does exactly what a rangefinder does, just on a shorter scale.
No, and I think that's smart, right? Because you do see basically what has happened, right? In some of the USGA tournaments, especially, unfortunately, you hear stories at the USAM where they're playing the first round and the caddy just like blurts out the slope, and the kid, a 19-year-old kid's like, well, now I got to disqualify myself because we turned off, we accidentally brought the wrong rangefinder and it told the slope, and the caddy wasn't thinking, and he just blurts it out, and it's like, well, now we're done. So I think that's probably the smartest move, where you start with like the most basic, right? And then I'm not sure, is it in the plans in the future to kind of include like a different model that can do a lot of other stuff? Or are you just thinking right now, like, this is the model, this is what I want to do, this is the best way moving forward?
I mean, there's always something that's going to be bigger and better. Again, I'm not an engineer. I'm not, you know, the, you know, the answer, the easy answer. I am always thinking, I lose sleep at night about how it can be better. So that is going to be something that, that we work on to try and figure out how we can continue to improve this. Um, so, without giving away trade secrets, there is some pretty cool technology out there for reading greens and doing other things that, we would, we're kind of, you know, that's why the intellectual property was important to me, because it really was something that I'm like, I don't know what exists here. I can't find anything like it, and I know I need it. So even if it costs me a couple bucks to try and figure it out, I will use this. So yeah, I think there are improvements, but I don't know where it will go. I'm so focused and worked so long on getting this one, and trying to launch it, and find out what the actual, the PGA show and the award was what I would call a proof of concept, and I just need to see if there's a proof of demand.
That's great. No, also, we always have to do the obligatory when we have someone who went to the PGA show. How cool is the PGA show?
I worked the booth solo this year. I had a helper last year. I got there 2 days. I got there in at least an hour and a half before it opened. And I stayed like an hour after it closed because I wanted to see every booth, I mean, just the simulators. There's this like high def sim that they literally took 40 to, I don't even know, 400,000 pictures. I don't even know how many pictures they took, but it's a sim that like, it looks like you're there. They have putting greens that like literally you're on a breaking putting green, all the new gear, all the new merch. I mean, I the first year I was there, I was so taken aback just by the scale. I mean, it has to be 10 football fields, maybe even more, maybe 20. It is enormous. And just the scale and the magnitude. And I mean, like, I wanted to see Titleist and FootJoy and, especially like the those mass companies that, I don't know. I didn't know what to expect. And I was just blown away. And this year, like, I worked the booth myself, but I shut down a little early on Friday because it was a beautiful day and a lot of people were out golfing, me not being one of them. But I was able to kind of like walk around. I met a couple of vendors that I wanted to meet, that were pertinent to my product. I wanted to meet some other, folks in the rangefinder space. It's just, I mean, it's a golfer's like Candyland. That's the only way I can describe it.
100%. It is. Yep. Kid in the candy shop. I don't know. I would imagine like when I was a kid going to Santa's workshop and just in awe and whatever, and just give it to me. Take my money, give it to me. Those right, and to have those interactive booths, to be able to get. I mean, Brendan and I went to a show in the winter, and to be able to get there and swing a club and swing something new, a fancy putter, a fancy simulator, like you were saying, it's good to just get out there, swing, and then move on, try something else. It's never ending. It's never ending. And but yeah.
And that was just the Northeast Golf Show, which is cool. But like, I can imagine the massive PGA show in Orlando, Florida is probably a little bit better.
They had this one thing. It was remember Big Break? I've been watching reruns of Big Break. They had the glass breaking challenge. Our man Brendan smashed it right through. First try, bang, right through it. I mean, he didn't just crack it. He smashed it through. People behind him were like, "Whoa, this guy." It was great. It was great.
It was a good time. It was a good time. We also had a little chipping contest, and my ball literally was in the thing, and it jumped out of the thing. And I was like, "Does this count?" And the guy was like, "No." I was so upset.
COVID rules. You got to enact the COVID rules. If it touches the pin, touches the flag, count it.
Exactly. I wish that was just golf in general.
There's no pool noodle in there. That's what you got.
It was a hot tub. It was a hot tub. There should have been a pool noodle in there.
Oh my God, I was so mad. So mad. I hit it perfectly and it just rattled me. Just absolutely rattled me for the rest of the time.
Yep, you get a ball in all 3 hot tubs that were in this big open area, you win a hot tub or win a chance to win a hot tub. I don't remember what it was, but pretty cool. Brendan nailed him.
That'd be pretty tough to take on the flight home.
It's true.
You didn't want to win it anyway.
It was in Foxborough.
Oh, not the PGA show. Still, how do you get a hot tub from Foxborough to Boston?
Or to Hilton Head?
Just a lot of questions here. A lot of questions.
But
a lot of questions. It's okay.
But no. Awesome. We should do the rapid fire round. Ask Andrew some questions.
Timbo, are you ready?
Oh,
Are you ready? Because you are 100% here on time and you are not late to the podcast at all. So are you ready?
The whole time I have been here listening. Boom. Andrew, are you ready for these questions?
I guess we'll find out.
Yep, already. They're really nothing. I'm just hyping it up. We asked this to everyone. First question, super simple. It could be either a long answer or a short answer, depending on your answer. Do you have any hole-in-ones?
I do.
Oh, let's go. First,
now you gotta tell the story.
Yep.
I got one. So it was in Myrtle and it was at Heritage on the 6th hole. And we teed off the back first and I was massively hungover. And I played like crap the back, had a massive chili cheese dog, which I don't know why, but I did. And somehow I ended up with a noodle number 7 ball on the 6th hole at Heritage. And I used to play a draw. After 4 knee surgeries, I play a cut now. But I hit a ball that did not get above my head. and it drew in, hit the front of the green, it rolled up and stayed on the cup and dropped. And there was my 4 buddies in the group. And if you know the 6-hole at Heritage, the other 4 guys, there were 12 of us. The other 4 guys were on the green right next to the tee. And then behind the green, the other 4 guys were on the tee box there. So literally all 12 guys saw it. My buddy, I sprinted away from him. He form tackled me into a mulch bed and got in the cart, called my dad before I got out of the hole. He answered, and yeah, that was it. It was a terrible shot, but it went in.
All because of the chili cheese dog. Good.
Yeah,
for
how do you not have one every round now? I feel like if superstition, I would have to have one every round.
Boy, that'd be rough on the bowels. That'd be rough on the bowels.
I regularly run out of stomach medicine in my golf bag. I need more stomach medicine than anything. Then I need teas or balls in my golf bag.
Oh man. Also can tell that you played either high school or college golf in the in like the 90s to 2000 era because you said you play a draw, and literally every single person who I've ever met in my entire life who played either high school or college golf, or who played high school golf and college golf, all hit draws. Meanwhile, I've been hitting the power fade my entire life. So, it's crazy.
Andrew, I want you to take a look at your backyard. I don't know if you have a backyard. This is question number 2. I want you to imagine a golf hole there, a golf hole that you have either played or you have seen on TV. You get to play this hole over and over in your backyard. It comes with all the scenery, all the accoutrements, and it comes with the yardages. Don't worry about room or anything like that. Which hole are you gonna put as your backyard hole?
Only because I've sat on the deck and never played it. I think I gotta go 18 at Pebble. I mean, it's just such an iconic golf hole. And I've been there. I've never played it. I played the little, I think it's called like not Jack Herrera. That's something else, but it's like Jack Harney. I forget the name of it. That might be down the Cape, but there's like a little par 3 next to Pebble. I played there, and I went with my folks and sat up there on the deck and watched people play 18 at Pebble. And it's just, I mean, that's just next level. So that, I think that would probably 18 at Framingham though, around here, is such a great hole. And I can't wait I'll probably hang out in between there and like 10 and 12 at the Mass Am this year and see how the big boys play that hole.
Awesome answer. I would love to have that as my backyard hole too. You are stranded on an island, Andrew, stranded on an island. You have unlimited golf balls. You are there for at least 1 year. You can hit these unlimited golf balls no matter where. You can hit them, keep them on the island. You can hit them off the island, whatever. But you can only bring 1 club to this island. What club are you bringing?
Wow. Geez. I think ripping the big dog would probably get old. I think I'd probably my 9-iron. That's what I have my ace with. So that kind of in the back of my mind, that's something. But I feel like I could hit a lot of different shots with it. And if I'm coming into the course on 2 wheels, which, I don't get to play a lot on the weekends. I coach a lot of kids sports, but if I'm coming in on 2 wheels from work on a weekday or something, if I can hit 3 9-irons before I play golf, that'll tell me exactly how I'm going to play that day. And it's just something about my 9. If I'm hitting the 9 well, I'm happy.
Love it. The Comfort Club 9-iron. That's great. Great answer.
Yeah.
Great.
I mean, everyone's got like the shorter iron that they love, 7, 8, 9. I feel like that's always in the realm right there. Love it.
Boom. Wow.
Awesome, Andrew. Well, again, everyone, make sure when it comes out, you go to Dotty Green, you get yourself a lovely little rangefinder for the green, aka the Dotty Green, and you get on there and you're just going to be putting like crazy, and you are going to absolutely love it. I know I'm about to shave off, hopefully, like 1 putt per 18, hopefully a lot more than that. But we're going to start at a good level, and then we're going to improve from there. That's the whole goal right now.
You still got to putt it, friend. It doesn't putt it for you. So
I mean, who knows? There's a lot new technology coming out, Brian. Maybe one day it will just putt it for me and it'll be wonderful. You know, you never know there, Brian.
I look forward to it for you, buddy.
I look forward to it too, believe me. Oh, even though I consider myself a decent putter, I still would love to, you know, just 18, pull the old Cam Smith and do 18 putts on 18 holes. Would absolutely love it. But Andrew, from the bottom of our hearts, we very much thank you for coming on. Please let us, please, you know, if we haven't said anything else, we'd love to shout out anything else on here. Please do.
Listen, I can't thank you guys enough. I really appreciate Brian, you know, with the Friar connection, getting us together. I say it like even in my day job, like if somebody starts chatting golf with me, it's something I love. I can't thank you guys enough for having me on. You know, it's Dotty Green Golf on Instagram. Shoot us a follow. I'll be updating everybody with a hopeful launch of Father's Day. You know, manufacturing isn't a simple process, but hopefully we'll have it by then. And again, thank you, thank you three for having me. It was great to meet you guys and great chatting.
Yeah, Andrew. Let's get out there and see you whack that 9-9. All right, I'd like to play with you.
Yeah. Hey, if you guys want to see Framingham before the AM, let me know.
Yup. Big time.
Count me in.
Yep. Like that a lot. Thanks so much for coming on, Andrew.